President-elect Trump seeks Supreme Court intervention to delay sentencing in New York business records case. President-elect Donald Trump has made an urgent plea to the U.S. Supreme Court to postpone his sentencing in the New York business records case. The sentencing, scheduled for Friday, January 10th, follows Trump's conviction in May 2024 on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. His legal team's request comes after a series of unsuccessful attempts in New York courts to delay the proceedings, including a recent rejection by the state's appeals court. Trump's lawyers argue that proceeding with the sentencing would cause grave injustice and pose risks to the presidency and the federal government. In their emergency filing, they cite a recent Supreme Court ruling that provides broad immunity from criminal prosecution to the president-elect. The Supreme Court has requested a response from New York prosecutors by Thursday, January 9th, signaling the urgency of the matter. Legal battle over presidential immunity. The case, presided over by New York Supreme Court Justice Juan M. Merchan, has drawn significant national attention. While Merchan has indicated that he does not plan to impose jail time, fines, or probation, Trump's legal team remains adamant that the sentencing should be delayed. They assert that evidence used in the trial should have been protected under presidential immunity. The emergency filing, signed by Trump's nominee for Solicitor General, argues that the Supreme Court's recent ruling on presidential immunity should apply retroactively to this case. The filing emphasizes the potential implications for Trump's ability to assume office as the 47th president, citing possible restrictions on travel, reporting requirements, and other conditions that could stem from the sentencing. Todd Blanche, one of Trump's attorneys, stated in the filing that allowing the sentencing to proceed would pose risks to America's vital interests that are intolerable and unconstitutional under the Supremacy Clause and the doctrine of presidential immunity. Merchan's rejections of delay requests. Despite Trump's legal maneuvers, Justice Merchan has remained firm in his stance. In a ruling on January 6, he dismissed Trump's arguments as a repetition of previously raised points, stating that the evidence used during the trial was related to unofficial conduct and did not qualify for immunity protections. Merchan's decisions have consistently upheld the integrity of the trial process. On January 3rd, he rejected Trump's request to dismiss the case outright, stating that he was not inclined to impose a prison term on the president-elect, but saw no reason to delay the sentencing further. Broader implications for the presidency. Trump's legal team has argued that the case has far-reaching implications, not only for the president-elect's ability to govern, but also for the institution of the presidency itself. They have drawn parallels to a separate case involving election interference, where U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan agreed that Trump's appeal based on presidential immunity automatically stayed proceedings. The argument hinges on the belief that any legal proceedings that could impede Trump's ability to assume office or carry out his duties as president are unconstitutional. His attorneys have emphasized that even non-custodial sentences, such as probation or travel restrictions, could interfere with his role as commander-in-chief. Supreme Court's role. The Supreme Court's response to Trump's emergency filing will likely set as a significant legal precedent. The court's recent ruling on presidential immunity has already reshaped the legal landscape, and its application to Trump's case could further define the boundaries of legal accountability for elected officials. While the court has not yet issued a ruling, its request for a response from New York prosecutors by Thursday suggests that the justices are taking the matter seriously. Legal experts speculate that the case could become a landmark decision, addressing the intersection of presidential immunity and state-level criminal proceedings. Political and public reactions. The case has sparked intense debate among legal scholars, politicians, and the public. Critics argue that Trump's repeated attempts to delay or reflect a pattern of avoiding accountability. Supporters, however, view the case as an unjust attack on a president-elect and a dangerous precedent for future administrations. Stephen Chung, a spokesman for Trump, called for the case to be dismissed entirely, labeling it a politically motivated effort to undermine the incoming administration. Meanwhile, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has maintained that the trial and sentencing are legitimate and necessary to uphold the rule of law. Amid legal battles, the legal battle comes at a critical juncture for Trump, just weeks before his inauguration on January 20th. The timing has raised questions about how ongoing legal proceedings could affect the transition of power and the operations of the federal government. Trump's recent legal challenges are not limited to the New York case. 2 federal cases against him were dismissed late last year, but ongoing investigations and potential trials could continue to dominate headlines throughout his presidency. Next steps. As the clock ticks toward the scheduled sentencing, all eyes are on the Supreme Court. If the justices agree to hear Trump's case, it could lead to a temporary halt in the proceedings and potentially reshape the outcome of the New York trial. If they deny the request, Trump's sentencing will proceed as planned, marking a significant moment in U.S. legal and political history. Regardless of the outcome, the case underscores the complexities of holding a sitting or incoming president accountable under the law. It also raises important questions about the balance between presidential immunity and the principle that no one is above the law. As the nation watches this legal drama unfold, the implications for Trump's presidency and the office itself are profound. Whether viewed as a pursuit of justice or a politically charged battle, the case will undoubtedly leave a lasting impact on the American legal and political landscape.